What's going on, guys? Fun with Knives back again, and today we're taking a look at the Kershaw Launch 2. Now, I'm sorry I've been away for a little while. I think it's been like 6 days. I had some health-related issues come up that have kept me away from both work and school, and of course, the reviewing table. There were some respiratory issues, so forgive me if I seem out of breath throughout this video. I might be rushing the recovery process just a little bit, but I really have lots of content I want to do and get out to you guys. So on to the review itself. This is the Kershaw Launch 2. The second in the Launch series, the first, of course, being the Launch 1 right here. And I'm thinking about doing a comparison video between these two. You guys will have to let me know if you want to see that, because I'm actually ready to do that. So if you guys want to see a review between the two, definitely throw it in the comments below. But Kershaw is up to 7 models in their automatic knife series, the Launch series. Launch 7 came out in 2017. It's a very cool looking design. It's a longer, slender model. I think it looks pretty cool. I have to check it out. But today we're focusing on the Launch 2. So here comes the boring part, the specs. You have a blade length here of 3.375 inches, if that'll focus for you. A handle length of 4.5 inches, making your overall length 7.875 inches. Blade thickness on this guy is, I'm shaking a little bit, sorry, 0.12, and handle thickness is actually under half an inch at 0.48. Overall, a nice compact size. For a lot of people, this is kind of their perfect EDC size. To me, it's just a hair small, but nothing to really complain about. This is kind of the go-to 3¼ inch size blade that most people seem to carry around in their pocket. The best thing about this knife is that it weighs in at 3.4 ounces. So a very lightweight, fairly compact USA made automatic. And it's packed full of a whole lot of good features. But there is one thing we need to discuss. It's kind of a disclaimer. This knife fails to lock up when you open it about 20% of the time, and that's just kind of an estimation here. I mentioned that my Launch 1 had that issue about, 2 or 3% of the time. Very rare in this model. This one is not the case. So if you're looking for the most ultra tactical, stab anything, anytime, automatic, scary knife, this is not it. I don't think the lockup issue should have to tell you that. It's just not in this design. It's not supposed to be a super hard to use tactical knife, but a lot of people think automatic knives are, all of them. But if you're going to be bothered by an occasional failure to lock, this is probably not the knife for you. And this could just be my model. And yes, I know I'm going to get tons of comments telling me, just send it into Kershaw. Well, I know Kershaw would take care of me. Their warranty service is great. I've had to use it before. They really stand behind their product. And I don't doubt that the issue would be fixed in a couple of months. But I don't want to spend $6 to ship it there, wait a couple of months, and then get my knife back finally. The main reason I say that is because look how much dirt and grime is on this blade. It's obviously not bothering me enough that I will not carry the knife. Honestly, the reason because of that is if this were not to lock up, like that, I had to use my finger to stop it, I do most of my cutting like this. Cut up in a box, meaning that blade will lock open. So it's not the biggest deal to me. But on to the features and my experience with the knife. So like all other members of the Launch series, this does have CPM 154 steel, the powdered version of 154 CM steel, and I am loving it. Like the McDonald's quote, I am loving it. This steel has just blew me away. I can't believe Kershaw is not using it on more of their models, outside of the Launch series. This still holds an edge for a long time. Both of my knives are DLC coated, but it does have good corrosion resistance, and it just seems like a very high value powdered metallurgy steel. I mean, if you're scared by the word powdered metallurgy because all of the knives seem to cost $200, this one doesn't. This one costs easily under $100, which is great. That's why I say it's high value. So on to the blade. 7200 BLKOL for olive and black. Just like most of the Launch series, you can get these in a variety of colors and finishes. I happen to have the OD green and black coated blade. Kai, made in the USA. Auto Kershaw written on that side. So to me, the blade itself, there's not a whole lot to talk about because you guys can see it with your own eyes. It's a standard drop point with a mid saber grind. It's not going to be the best slicer because your thickest portion of the blade is right here, meaning you're traveling from full thickness to your cutting edge in about half an inch. Not the best slicer. If you guys have a Dragonfly or a Delica or something from Spyderco, this is going to pale in comparison as a cutting tool, because the material when you cut through a box or an apple is going to bind up a lot faster on a steeper angle, such as this Launch 2. Does this mean it's a bad cutting tool? No, not at all. For all of my EDC tasks, it's performed fine. I would have rather seen a full flat grind on this model. I think it would have been much more successful, but that's just me. Kind of a thin, standard looking drop point. Not a whole lot to talk about with standard Kai markings on it, a couple of flats. But on to deployment, which we talked about a little bit. It does fail to lock occasionally, but for the majority of the time, this knife rockets out and locks open very securely. And guys, I've never considered myself an automatic knife guy per se, but it's hard to put these things down. I mean, especially when you carry them. I find reasons to get this knife out and, oh, I got another string on my pants I need to cut off. I mean, I want to use these knives just because I love watching them open. It's even shaking the camera there a little bit. Nope, well, we had a failure to lock. See that? It's going to happen, guys. Hopefully it's just mine, honestly, but I've heard some similar things from people on Instagram, have messaged me about their own Launch 2s. But I'll kind of talk about the Launch 2 design a little bit further in a minute. But overall, I mean, that action is phenomenal, and it is a plunge lock. It is a side opening automatic, so it kind of has to be. There's your plunge lock, disengage it, and the blade is ready to close. The detent's actually pretty nice. I mean, it takes a little bit to get that blade out there. And of course, the button is recessed. Now, this is a all black button, contrary to the standard black aluminum handle scale launches have a red button. But on to the handle itself. Again, anodized aluminum, just like the rest of the series. This one in green. Now, I like this knife more in my pocket than my hand. It's kind of a weird thing, but the Launch 1, let's face it, takes up quite a bit of room in your pocket. The Launch 2 does not. You can see how much room you're saving there. It's not quite as wide. It's not quite as long. It's more of a compact, slim package. To me, in my automatic knives, which you're seeing both of, this is more of my dressy automatic. It seems to hide in the pocket a little bit better. It's a little bit lighter, and it's just a little bit more streamlined. It doesn't have a whole lot of things coming out of it. There's not a huge finger guard. It's not a big wide blade. It's just kind of slender, and again, fits into that everyday carry knife role very well with its size, its weight, and its capability. See that nice fuller in the handle there that transitions perfectly into the grind, and I think that's why they've chosen to do that mid saber grind rather than a higher flat grind there. That the design language on this knife is actually very cool. It's a slight graceful curve from tip to end. It's not just a straight line. It's just kind of that nice graceful curve that fits pretty decent in your hand. The ergonomics, honestly, for cutting are best in this kind of grip. We're going to be doing the scoring cuts for boxes and packages, that kind of thing. Because hammer grip's not the best. I mean, I doubt you're going to use this knife in a reverse hammer grip, but it's kind of a neutral handle. You got kind of this bump here that your pinky lands on. But other than that, it's a very neutral handle that has, again, nice chamfering all over it. Just like the Launch 1 did. They did a very good job making these handles as comfortable as they could and making them look like integral pieces of aluminum, even though it's two pieces. You can see this is kind of a flow-through design. You can definitely blast that out with some canned air, run it under some water, and get that grime out of there. This does have a lanyard hole and has perfect centering since the day I got it, which is awesome. Just like the Launch 1, Kershaw's USA knives just continue to impress. They're batting way above their price point in levels of fit and finish, I think. On to construction. You just have two screws holding this knife together that do not show on the show side. Just like the Launch 1, you get a very uninterrupted design language on both of these knives, which is, it just makes them feel like they're much more expensive than they really are. So I like the design language of this one, not quite as much as the Launch 1, but to me this is a kind of a sexier knife. I don't know what the word, I don't want to use that one. How about a more casual looking knife? This is a more less aggressive one. It's just kind of streamlined, and again, has that graceful curve to it. And I kind of like this hump here, kind of lets you know where you're at on the knife, because there is no protection from that cutting edge. There's no, finger guard or anything like that here. And guys, it's been a while since I'm making a video, so this is going to turn out to be kind of long. Got the standard Skyline clip, just like quite a few of the Launch series. Perfect functionality, does not match the Launch series too well, in my opinion. But I mean, you can't ask for more in functionality of the clip. It holds in your pocket nicely. It's easy to take in and out, and it is definitely beefy enough. Held on with 2 T6 screws. Another thing I like to see, if I don't throw the knife at you guys, is a captive pivot, and of course, the American flag. So my recommendation on this knife is going to come with a couple of caveats here. I like the Launch 1 better. I do. I think it's a more, I don't know, it's a cooler looking design. I like the blade shape a little bit more. The ergonomics speak to me on a more real level. But the Launch 2 is a good way to go. If you guys are curious about the Launch 2, you've been looking at it for a while, think it's a good deal, think it's something you would like, I suggest you get one. If and only if the lockup problem does not bother you. If it does, steer clear or handle one before you buy it. I'd hate to make a recommendation and have you guys be disappointed in the knife that you got because it fails to lock open occasionally. And I know why mine does that. I think the spring's a little bit too strong. If I hold the knife firmly in my hand and press the button, it will fail to lock. If I hold it a little bit looser, press the button, it locks up every time. Something I've learned over the past few months that I've owned it. But yeah, I'm going to get another whole lot of comments to say you shouldn't have to open that knife a certain way. It's just a push button automatic. Yeah, you're probably right. But it's my push button automatic, and I've learned the best way to open it. I'm going to stick with it. So that's kind of my thoughts on the Launch 2. I do recommend both of these knives. I would recommend the Launch 1 over the Launch 2. But if your heart's set on this one in a particular color from Blade HQ or a particular blade finish or whatever it is, this again is an outstanding value. For it to be USA made, use that steel and have this high levels of fit and finish, it's a win. It's a home run again. I'm pretty sure I'm going to like whatever the Kershaw Launch series throws my way. So thanks for watching, guys, as always. And again, I promise I have lots of content coming. I just need to get it out there. This semester is almost over, so that'll be good news for you guys, but I am hopping right into summer semester. I'm trying to get this shit done. But once I'm done with school, hopefully Fun with Knives will really take off, and I'll have all sorts of time to dedicate to YouTube. But until that day, thanks for watching, and remember, have fun with your knives.